Hi guys, welcome back to yet another video. So basically this video is to cater to the recently qualified CMA students who have just qualified their examinations in December 2019 and about to appear for the campus placements. So basically I have been receiving a lot of messages on Messenger that wanting to know how or why I took up indirect tax as my career option for me and what is my take on it, what are my experiences till date after like 3 years of rigorous working in indirect taxes. And so basically I thought why not make a video out of it and put it on YouTube for larger interest. So before I begin to say anything, let me tell you that all these views are my own personal views. It might so happen that people after listening to this video might have a different view or they might vouch for something else. They are open to do this. I have no issues with it. So, without wasting a moment, let me tell you, I have divided this entire conversation with you guys into 5 parts. So, basically, I'll first tell you what made me choose indirect tax as my career option and what is my feedback on it. Second, what are the prerequisites that a person should have or should know before taking up indirect tax as a career option? Third, what are the mistakes that people generally do once they jump into this career? Third, what are the challenges a CMA professional faces once they take up indirect tax as their career? And fifth, what had been my experiences from the campus placement conducted by the institute? Obviously by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. So let me remind you once again that these views are all my entirely personal views. So without wasting a moment, so let's get started. So when I was in my intermediate examinations, I was preparing for my group 2 examination. So there was a paper, as you all know, there was a 100 marks indirect tax paper. So I had taken my coaching from Mr. Vikram Biani sir. At that time he used to teach in Calcutta. So the first thing in the morning, I used to attend his class. So again I used to attend his class in the evening. After my college used to get over, I used to rush back to his classes. So from there I realized that indirect tax was an interesting subject. Unlike DT, I'm not criticizing direct tax paper. Direct tax is very lengthy, but in indirect tax there is a lot of depth. Okay, so basically this is how it all started. So I googled ki, so I, then and there I made up my mind ki after my qualification, after qualifying my intermediate exams, I would take a training from a indirect tax firm, solely a firm or a company that was entirely into indirect tax and not one of the indirect vertical was indirect tax. So I googled, I wanted to know which are the best firms of IDT in Calcutta. So whatever name the Google threw upon me, I dropped in my CV there. And luckily with a friend's reference, a lot of hard work, interviews, I got into it. So once I got into it, obviously after qualifying my intermediate examinations, 7 to 8 months I was into rigorous compliance task. Rigorous compliance task. In compliance, I had to study the service tax, I had to study VAT, I had to study excise because I joined that firm in the month of May. So May June 17 was till then GST was not happening. I mean to say that GST was not made applicable. It was made applicable from July 17. So like May, June, I was entirely into service tax, VAT, excise. I had done compliance of that also. Then I had also seen that phase when a business was shifting from an erstwhile taxation structure to a entirely new regime, to a new taxation structure that is GST. I had worked on that also. How should I? So I that in that entire transition period, many companies in the transition phase, I had contributed. I mean to say, I had contributed a lot in that. So I have experienced that phase also. Moving further, after like 7 to 8 months of hardcore compliance, my role got shifted from compliance to replies, drafting of letters, correspondences, show cause replies, show cause notices replies. Then after that, I was moved to advisory. From there to litigation management. Under litigation management, I used to draft appeals, appear before authorities. So all this went, and finally after like 2 years after qualifying my examination, final examination, it took me like 2 years. I was appearing like one by one because I had my BCom examinations also. So I had to go like group wise exam. I did not appear for both the group at once. So moving further, this was my entire story ki how I landed up in this career. And trust me guys, when that black coat, जब आप वो black coat अपने बदन पे डाल के when you will get going out of your house, 4 लोग आपको मुड़ के जरूर देखेंगे कि यार ये बंदा या स्लैश बंदी कौन है, एकदम चमक धमक के जा रहा है. And when you'll be appearing in front of authorities and putting your case in front of them, किक है उसमें, किक, आई एम टेलिंग यू. फिर जब आप कोर्ट रूम में एंटर करोगे, दैट वाज लाइक, मेरे लिए तो बहुत बड़ी बात थी वो. व्हेन आई वाज स्टैंडिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ द लर्नड जज एंड आई वाज आर्ग्यूइंग अ पर्टिकुलर केस ऑफ द क्लाइंट. सो मूविंग फर्दर, नेक्स्ट conversation topic is what are the prerequisites before jumping into this career. So I made a list out of it. I was like planning to do this. So just give me a moment. Yeah. So what are the prerequisites? Firstly, you have to be a very you should have a very good interpretation skills and analytical skills first, because this is entirely law based. Okay, so you should have this. Then next is be ready to study erstwhile laws and other allied laws जिनका नाम you have never listened to. For example, RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. Then we have WB HIRA, West Bengal Housing एंड इंडस्ट्रियल, जो भी नाम है, WB हीरा कह के बोलते हैं उसको. देन वी हैव ईजमेंट एक्ट. देन वी हैव स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट, नाम भी नहीं सुना होगा. वी हैव टू स्टडी दैट ऑल्सो. सेकेंड इज स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ बोल गया. ट्रांसफर प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट, जनरल क्लॉजेज है. जनरल क्लॉजेज एक्ट तो भाई पढ़ना ही पढ़ना है. यू हैव नो अदर ऑप्शंस. वंस यू आर इनटू इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस, यू विल हैव टू स्टडी जनरल क्लॉजेज एक्ट, ट्रांसफर प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट, सेल ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट, इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट. ये सब अलाइड लॉज पढ़ने के लिए यू विल हैव टू बी रेडी. ये सब आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. क्यों पढ़ना पड़ेगा? बिकॉज बहुत बार ओपिनियंस ड्राफ्टिंग आती है, एडवाइजरी, जो एक और वर्टिकल है इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का. यू हैव टू स्टडी द अलाइड लॉज ऑल्सो बिफोर गिविंग एन ओपिनियन टू अ पर्टिकुलर क्लाइंट. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज यू विल हैव टू रीड द entire judgment of the Supreme Court, High Court, the Honorable Supreme Court or the Honorable High Court. What we basically do is we just pull out the judgment what has been given. For an example, in our final examinations, what we have been taught is this particular thing is a composite supply. Why it is a composite supply? This is the judgment. You refer it. Why this judgment was taken up? What was the actual facts of that judgment? What the court put forward? What were the findings of the court? What was their observations that went missing? So we never knew what has led to making this particular transaction as a composite supply. Okay, so whether it is a 1-page judgment or a 2500 pages judgment, you'll have to read the entire things full. You'll have to read the entire judgment from top to bottom, from the date, from a particular date, starting with date, who are the appealants, who are the plaintiff, who are the defendants. The judge is not required, but then at times it makes a lot of difference. For an example, there is a Supreme Court judgment given by a 7-member bench, and then there is a Supreme Court judgment given by a 9-member bench. So we'll have to take a call on the judgment given by a 9-member bench. So that is basically known as a larger bench. Next is you will have to be inquisitive. You will have to be very inquisitive, and you will have to take out the answers. Never Google the answers. Why? I'll tell you. Before coming to this topic, so basically people get scared. How should I read 2500 pages ka pura judgment? The trick is very asan, very easy. Firstly, you'll have to divide the entire judgment into 4 parts. Firstly, you pick out what is the fact of the case. Second, what was the argument placed by the plaintiff. Third, what was the argument placed by the defendant. And fourth is, what has been the observation of the court? What did the court say? From that, you'll have to extract the principle laid down by the court, by the honorable court. So what I was telling you, you'll have to be very inquisitive. 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 I'm stressing upon it because not any query is a small query in indirect taxes. A small compliance error will lead to 100% penalty amount along with interest. That means the compliance cost is very high. The compliance legal cost would be very high. So, and never Google the answers. Next is BEAR Act. You'll have to read the BEAR Act. अगर उतना दम है BEAR Act को उठा के पढ़ने का, you'll have to do it. आपको BEAR Act पढ़ना पड़ेगा because that is the Bible. BEAR Act and the rules are the Bible of any law. Okay. Next is good memory. Good memory, why I am saying this? Because when you will be going to a client's office and if the clients ask you a particular suggestion on anything, you'll have to be on your toes to give them the opinion. That is a different issue that is entirely a new transaction and you are already working on it. Then you can say ki look, prima facie I have this opinion, but then I have to have a relook before I comment, before I come to any conclusion. So you cannot say that I don't know. No is never a solution to any query of the client. That way you will lose your own clients. You will lose the firm's reputation with whom you are working also. Fine? So you'll have to be like, you'll have very good memory. You should have very good memory. You should be knowing the entire law. What are the judgments? What was the circular? What was the notification? Relating to that particular thing. It's not mandatory that you remember word by word what was written there, but then you should know कि हाँ मेरे को इस बारे में पता है. It's not like मेरे को ये transaction के बारे में एकदम भी नहीं पता है कि I don't know how to treat this transaction. It shouldn't be like this. Good memory, again why I'm telling you, because when you are arguing in front of the authorities, all these points, whatever your defending points, it has to be in your brain. You cannot every time look in the appeal petition or in the show cause notice replies ki what I have written. You'll have to be on your toes every time. Next is communication skills. Communication skills along with good English, command of over good English or good language of your mother tongue or the regional language. For example, if I say that I have argument in front of up to the level of first appellate authority, up to commissioner appeals, you can argue in your local language, in your local regional language. That is not an issue. Basically, prefer Hindi. But then when you are in front of a honorable court, whether that is tribunal or an high court or supreme court, you cannot say that I cannot speak in English. You will have to do it. You will have to. So if your English is good, your communication skills are very good, you are able to communicate your points to the adjudicating authority or to your client or to your appellate authority, then it will be a very good thing. Basically, good memory, good communication skills, good language, command over language. Or why did I say good English? Because at times you will have to draft opinions, and you have to draft appeals, wherein you cannot go wrong with your English. A small error of a punctuation can change the entire scenario. Okay. Next is you should know the basics of tax. Basics of taxing statute matlab you should know what an act is, what is the jurisprudence. Jurisprudence बहुत बड़ी चीज बात होगी मैंने बोल दी, but then jurisprudence आपको पढ़ना पड़ता है. That is an entire subject in a law syllabus. Jurisprudence. Act, what is the jurisprudence? What are rules? What are its legality? Then what are notification? What is the legality? What are circulars? Again, their legality. And then what are schedules? So basically, you should be knowing the everything key if a particular thing is there in the rules and if the particular thing, its enabling provision is not there in that. So would the rules be, for an example, would the rules be effective? For an example, we say that Rule 36(4) has been notified, but then its corresponding section, section 43A, has not been notified. What are its implications? What are its implications? What are the pros and cons of it? Should we advise client ki not to follow Rule 36 sub Rule 4, or should we say ki no, you do this? So that is entirely your professional opinion on it. Next is interpretation of statute and legal maxims. You should know this. Interpretation of statute मतलब कि you should know एक act है So what are the what do you mean by provisos? What are explanations? What do you mean by amendments? So when an amendment is called as a prospective amendment, when an amendment is called as a retrospective amendment, when an amendment is called a retroactive amendment, what are the by which act of finance act is introduced, what are the constitutional validity and everything. So basically, you'll have to know interpretation of statute. You'll have to study the interpretation of statute also. How do you interpret that? What are marginal notes? What is the preamble? What is the legal validity of the preamble of the act? Let me ask you something. What is the preamble of the CGST Act? If you know this, please tell me in the comment section. I bet nobody knows. But then as a legal professional, but then as an indirect tax professional, you'll have to know it. What is the first beginning line of the act? Now when I ask people what is the full form of GST, they tell me that it stands for good and services tax. Good and service tax, goods and service tax, the goods and service tax. It stands for the goods and services tax, comma, Services Tax Act, comma 2017. So GST is goods and services. You cannot say goods, you cannot say good and services or goods and service. That is not the name. You should also know the name. Next is landmark judicial precedents. Before proceeding into indirect tax, when you are in your training field, because after qualifying, nobody has that much time to train a professional, already qualified person. You'll have to, you study this ruling, you study that judgment of the Supreme Court, that we have to study rulings dated right from 1700 to 1989 judgment to 2000, year 2000 judgment also. Year 2000. Like for an example, if there's a very famous ruling of Larsen and Toubro, there is B.C. Srinivasa Shetty 1989. Then there is NMDC case about levy or mechanism of valuation, which states that B.C. Srinivasa Shetty, Govind Saran, Gangasaran. Then we have NMDC, which states that if the valuation mechanism is not present in the statute, then there cannot be any levy of a tax. So we should know these judicial precedents also. Fine. So these are the prerequisites. Every time I have to look there because I made a list out of it. So I have to brief you up on everything. Next, moving forward, we have mistakes people do when they enter into this profession. This I have jotted down from my own experience, what I have experienced and what I see around me. Firstly, these are all collective efforts made by me and my friends also, who have they have their inputs also in making these series with you. So basically the first mistake is, many professionals think I am a professional now, why should I enter into a compliance task? Buddy, every litigation starts from compliance. If your compliance is not there, then the litigation starts. If your compliance is very strong, there would be not an iota of litigation in your business profile. So you'll have to do compliance task before advancing. I'm talking about freshers who are thinking of joining indirect tax. Whenever you join an indirect tax domain, the first thing that you will be made to do is compliance. It might range from 1 year to 11 months to 9 months, but it cannot stretch to beyond 1 year. From this we come up to the next mistake. When they find the compliance tax is very easy, they stick to it. They don't rotate their vertical. Like in indirect tax, there are a hell lot of verticals there. From compliance to advisory to litigation management to research. Everything is there. But then, Babu Shunalo, they'll study, they'll stay in compliance. Ki nahi, mereko, this is the most easiest task. I'll do this. Next is, and sometimes it is not their mistake also. Their employer's mistake is also there. Reason being, they don't want that their employee to rotate their job. Reason being, once they rotate their job, again they have to give it extra time to make him क्या बोलते हैं उसको proficient to deal with the other vertical. Like for example, from compliance you are shifting to advisory. Now he will have to tell you how to draft a legal opinion, how to draft an opinion for a particular client. That is again a hell lot of क्या बोलते हैं etiquette. There are many etiquettes in drafting an opinion, so he'll have to teach you how to draft. That much time no one has. Even I don't have. I can't teach my juniors. Look, you'll have to do this. You study this. You study that. At least I do. It's not like I never do that. But then it takes time. By the time I teach him, I myself might do it. So at times the employers also don't want. So there is only one suggestion: if you have these kind of toxic bosses, please exit and find someone new where you can grow. Third is they only read the final judgment. हाँ ये टैक्सेबल नहीं है, टैक्सेबल नहीं है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया था, ये टैक्सेबल नहीं है. अब कोई क्लाइंट आके पूछ लिया कि भैया इज दिस ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्सेबल, व्हाट दे विल डू, दे विल पिक अप दैट सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट एंड प्लेस इट इन दैट ओपिनियन एंड दे गिव इट. फैक्ट्स नहीं जाना क्लाइंट का, फैक्ट्स क्या है, कोर्ट का जो रूलिंग आया है किस ऑब्जर्वेशन से आया, that they have completely ignored. And what is the consequence? The client has stopped paying tax on it. Just imagine the implication out of it. You will have to read the entire judgment. Another point, this hype that has been created in the indirect tax field domain. You might be aware there has been an advanced ruling for directors. Everybody has started commenting on the capability of authority of advanced ruling. But no one has actually got into facts or the arguments placed. Once you know the facts, every time everybody is saying that advanced ruling has gone crazy, they have no brains, they should have looked into this, they should have considered this. Advanced ruling can only rely on those portions that have been put forward to them. They cannot go beyond the stated facts. आपने क्या ये बताया, उन्होंने ये बोल दिया था कि ये डायरेक्टर्स को इसके अलावा भी हम एक कंसिडरेशन देते हैं जिसके ऊपर हम आरसीएम पे करते हैं. कोई मतलब ये सब बात बताने का, ठीक है. नो पुअर, एकदम क्या बोलते हो, पुअर ड्राफ्टिंग एंड नो वैलिड आर्गुमेंट्स पुट फॉरवर्ड. तो मेरे ओपिनियन में एडवांस रूलिंग जो आया ना, बहुत सही. अब इन लोग आँख खोलेगा. इतना कभी कभी आई टेल यू, इतना एडवर्स रूलिंग जो आती है ना, simply because of good drafting, दम भी नहीं है and no arguments put forward, valid arguments है ही नहीं, जिसका नतीजा adverse ruling आ जाती है. I am telling you this thing. So please, again I am telling you, all these views are my own personal views. It might so happen that people might start criticizing me कि नहीं तुम ऐसे कैसे बोल सकते हो, the ruling is wrong, that ruling is right, जो भी. अभी एक और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का रूलिंग आया था, कैलकाटा आया क्लब के ऊपर, कितने लोगों ने पढ़ा है वहां पे, इतना ब्यूटीफुली दे हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड अबाउट प्रिंसिपल ऑफ म्यूचुअलिटी. नोबडी हैव स्टडीड. एंड देन यू वांट कि मेरे को इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स फील्ड में जाना है, करियर बनाना है. आएंगे उसके ऊपर भी आएंगे. आई टेल यू, वीडियो ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं होने वाला, बट देन आई जस्ट कमेंट ऑन दिस ऑल्सो. नेक्स्ट मिस्टेक इज, आपने लॉ पढ़ लिया, सब कुछ पढ़ लिया, बट देन इफ यू डोंट नो हाउ द डिपार्टमेंट फंक्शंस, you cannot do anything. I'll just give you a brief example. There was a friend of mine whose client's registration was rejected. You know what he did? He straight away went to Principal Chief Commissioner. And when the Principal Chief Commissioner questioned that guy, did you first go to your Assistant Commissioner? He said, no, I have come straight forward to you. And the next reply that he did was, please get out of the room. This was his reply. The people don't know the hierarchy in the department. There is section 3. Did anybody study that section in the GST Act? No. That section itself has so many importance. There is notification number 2/2017. किसी ने नहीं पढ़ा वहाँ, जहाँ पे उनको बताया कि एक जुरिडिक्शन क्या है हर एक ऑफिसर्स का, नहीं, दे स्टार्ट रिप्लाइंग टू नोटिसेस ऑल्सो. And then there is section 160 which states कि if you have accepted a notice and have complied it, बाद में you cannot say no, this notice is without jurisdiction. You have to understand the hierarchy of the department and how it functions. What are the different subcategories? What is range? What work is done in the range? What work is done in the divisions? What is the refund section? What is the technical section? There are so many wings in the department. There is anti-evasion, there is audit, there is investigation, then there is क्या बोलते हैं उसको, refund section. There are so many divisions, there are systems. You should know for a particular matter in which section you should go of your particular jurisdiction. Nobody, बड़े बड़े लोगों को नहीं पता है. I'm telling you this thing. Next. This point is like very funny. Not everything in the law is unconstitutional. When this Rule 36(4) came up, everybody like, ये unconstitutional है, ये है, वो है. They started in the entire my LinkedIn feed. I was like, how can people say like this? This is unconstitutional. ये है, वो है. Then there was क्या था? Return filing. और ये क्या, ये जो नया रिटर्न आने वाला है, दिस इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट डू इट. क्यों भाई, अमेंडमेंट तो ला दिया ना एक्ट में, खाली रूल्स भी नोटिफाई होना बाकी है ना, वो भी हो जाएगा. You become very emotional. Please accept the law that has been given to you. My honest request. Please accept the law that has been given to you. It might so happen that there are very judicial precedents. There are jurisprudence also. ठीक है, अगर है तो फिर अब जाओ, यू चैलेंज दैट बाय फाइलिंग अ रिट बिफोर द अप्रोप्रिएट कोर्ट. वो नहीं होगा, पूरे लिंक्डइन फीड भर देंगे मेरे, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, ये है, वो है, इवन ऑन माय फेसबुक आल्सो. नेक्स्ट इज they don't focus on self development. This point I will cover in the mistake, in the challenges. जो challenges का जो हम लोग क्वेश्चन करेंगे उसमें I will cover this. Next is they don't research, they only Google the answers. One incident I will tell you what happened. कि one of my colleague, I have asked him a certain question. What he did was he started googling. Google कर दिया कि Google में ऐसा ऐसा बोला है कि कर लो. This is the provision. जब मैंने वो provision पढ़ा, and luckily I saw the amended act. Hell difference, heaven and hell का difference था. Now just imagine, on the basis of that Google answer, had I recommended that particular advice to my client, what repercussion there would be. Next, अगर कोई, जैसे फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल देयर वाज, आई डोंट नो वेदर आप लोग के नज़र के सामने से गुजरा है ये नहीं, कितना बार आप लोगों ने जीएसटी एक्ट पढ़ा है और पढ़ाया गया है. देयर इज आर्टिकल 265 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन व्हिच स्टेट्स दैट नो टैक्स शैल बी लेविड और कलेक्टेड विदाउट एनी अथॉरिटी ऑफ लॉ. लिखा है सेक्शन 9 में. क्या लिखा है? व्हाट इज रिटन इन सेक्शन 9? दे हैव स्टेटेड नो टैक्स शैल बी लेविड एंड कलेक्टेड. दोनों में फर्क है. सो आपको रिसर्च करना पड़ता है. यू विल हैव टू रीड द एक्ट बार बार एवरी टाइम. लाइक इफ यू रीड 5 टाइम्स देयर विल बी 5 इंटरप्रिटेशंस. आई एम टेलिंग यू. टेक फॉर अनदर एग्जांपल, अंडर सेक्शन 17(5)(d) they have written works contract services ... plant and machinery, plant or machinery, sorry. And the explanation, they are defining plant and machinery. How is this valid? Now, if I want to know what is the definition of plant or machinery, obviously I cannot pick up the definition of plant and machinery. यहाँ पे एक और बात निकल में आती है. What is the meaning of or? What is the meaning of and? What is the meaning of in respect to? What is the meaning of in response to? What is the meaning of inducement? What do you mean by in the course or furtherance of business? So आपको बहुत सारे रिसर्च करना पड़ता है सब पे before you proceed with your advisory or you reply to a particular show cause notice. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया को इग्नोर ही कर देते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं. Now, what are the challenges? As a CMA student, the biggest challenge is I am telling you this is a harsh reality, but then it is the truth. Again, I am underlining and saying these are my humble opinion, these are my own personal views. CMA को industry, the CMAs are क्या बोलते हैं वैसे नहीं. Let me put it this way: the industry is not ready to accept a CMA as an indirect tax प्रोफेशनल. नहीं है, रेडी नहीं है वो लोग. ऐसा नहीं है कि इम्पॉसिबल ही है, बट रेडी नहीं हो पा रहा है. जब भी कोई इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स का ओपनिंग आएगा, यू विल सी द प्राइमरी क्वालिफिकेशन सीएमए इज मिसिंग. क्यों? वेयर डू यू सी एनी सीएमए प्रैक्टिसिंग इन इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स? हार्डली 1%, 1.5%, उतना नहीं होगा जितना कोई और प्रोफेशन कर रहा होगा इस पे वर्क. इंस्टीट्यूट अपना अच्छा रोल कर रही है इस पे, एंड वी शुड कंट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स दिस आल्सो. लाइक आई राइट अ लॉट ऑफ आर्टिकल्स, आई हैव रिटन अ lot of articles, not lot, I have written like 3 to 4 articles for the institute. At least you given your opinion also, you pen it down, your thoughts, give it to the institute for publication. Let the institute know that you are also into indirect tax domain, है ना. ऐसे गोल कर लेना मेरा नाम, तो टैक्स बुलेटिन में 3-4 ठो आ जाएगा, पढ़ लेना. And let me tell you, it is a very good content article, not any due date extension or I have explained a particular rule, रूल ही छाप के दे दिया उसमें. वैसा नहीं है, प्योरली कंटेंट है. माय रिसर्च जो मैंने डाला उसमें, व्हाट आर माय कमेंट्रीज. रीड एन आर्टिकल एंड देन यू विल रियलाइज कि हाउ एन ओपिनियन और हाउ एन आर्टिकल इज ड्राफ्टेड. ठीक है, यू शुड ऑल्सो कंट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑल्सो. कब तक इंस्टीट्यूट से लेते रहोगे? दो. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज द नेक्स्ट चैलेंज इज not as a CMA, but then as a professional, indirect tax professional, is there are a whole lot of amendments and judgments coming up. Judgments, I mean judgment, not rulings. I don't rely on advanced rulings, please. I never give my opinion on any advanced ruling based on any advanced rulings. There I have seen many people who give their opinion based solely on advanced rulings. Sorry, advanced ruling is nothing in front of me. अगर मेरे को ओपिनियन देना है तो मैं ट्रिब्यूनल तक का सोच के ओपिनियन देता हूँ. भाई ट्रिब्यूनल के सामने मैं कैसे अप्रोच करूंगा? बिकॉज आई नो कमिश्नर अपील्स तक मेरा केस कंफर्म होने वाला है. कमिश्नर अपील्स तक नो देयर वुड बी एनीवन टू लिसन टू मी. इट इज ओनली अप टू फ्रॉम ट्रिब्यूनल दैट पीपल इज एट द डिपार्टमेंट विल अंडरस्टैंड. नेक्स्ट इज जॉब मिल भी गया ना, पैसे कम है. देयर इज लेस पे, आई एम टेलिंग यू, देयर इज वेरी लेस पे. ठीक है, बट देन मेरे पास एक्सपीरियंस था तो मेरा पैकेज ठीक है. बट देन व्हेन अ फ्रेशर इज एंटरिंग इनटू इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स वर्सेस व्हेन अ फ्रेशर इज एंटरिंग इनटू अ डिफरेंट डोमेन, उससे कंपैरिजन में यहाँ पे पे कम मिलेगा. इनिशियली पे बहुत कम है, बट देन अगर आप टिक गए तो हैट्स ऑफ मैन. फिर तो आपका फाड़ के पैसा है, फाड़ के पैसा है. आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस. नेक्स्ट, filled with unnecessary information in their heads. Again for a professional I am saying, ड्यू डेट एक्सटेंड हो गया, उसका इन्फॉर्मेशन भरे हुए दिमाग में. क्यों भाई? नहीं यूज आने वाला. अगर मेरे को जानना है कि इसका एक्सटेंशन हुआ है, ऑब्वियसली आई विल गो टू द CBIC वेबसाइट, आई विल टेक आउट अ पर्टिकुलर नोटिफिकेशन, आई विल सी इट. व्हाट इज द नीड टू स्टोर ऑल दीज थिंग्स इन योर ब्रेन? एग्जामिनेशन में भी नहीं पूछते कि व्हाट वाज द अमेंडेड ड्यू डेट. दे वोंट आस्क. नेक्स्ट, माई एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द कैंपस. देख भाई, हुआ ये कि एट द टाइम ऑफ फाइलिंग माई कैंपस प्लेसमेंट फॉर्म, आई गेव पुट अप माई CV, सब कुछ डाला. देन आई गिवन माई मार्क्स ऑल्सो. फिर मैं शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गया. शॉर्टलिस्ट हुआ, पूरा पूरा एकदम शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गया. लाइक अच्छी अच्छी जगह पे शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गया. बट द मोमेंट दे सॉ माई CV, इट वॉज फिल्ड विद इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. सिर्फ इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स था. मेरे को कोई और डोमेन का जीरो नॉलेज था, प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर नहीं था मेरे पास, जिसकी वजह से. बट देन देयर वाज अ कंपनी who then there was a company, I'll tell you, there was two companies actually. तो जिन्होंने मेरा जब CV देखा, so they started throwing indirect tax questions on me. ये है तो वो है, indirect tax not related to GST. Like it was like 10% GST and 90% erstwhile taxes, service tax, VAT. VAT makes scheme. There was used to be a scheme of remission of duty. So what do you mean? What is remission of duty with the for the client that he have worked on it for how many years he used to enjoy that, under which scheme, what is the name of the scheme, and how you used to calculate the remission. 10% GST and 90% erstwhile taxes. They was impressed, but then at a certain moment of time, I was like, sir, I am exhausted. I cannot answer any further questions to you. I'm not sorry. I did not say that I cannot. I said, yeah, I won't be able to answer any further question. I'm like very exhausted. My brain is not functioning. And then they were like, okay, fine. We'll call you tomorrow again. We'll call you again tomorrow. So आपका जो है वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस होगा फ्रॉम बैंगलोर. सो वंस आई केम बैक, रात भर कुछ पढ़ाई नहीं किया, कुछ भी नहीं, नथिंग आई स्टडीड. आई स्ट्रेट वेंट टू माई VC. VC हुआ 1.5 आवर्स रगड़ के GST पूछा, रगड़ के GST, एंड नॉट प्योरली लॉ बेस्ड. एडवांस रूलिंग तो पूछ लिया मेरे से कि ये मैटर है, कौन सा एडवांस रूलिंग में आया था, ये एडवांस रूलिंग में क्या मैटर आया था, ये तक पूछा गया था मेरे. आई आंसर्ड. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि उस टाइम तक एडवांस रूलिंग इतना ज़्यादा वो हुआ नहीं था. तो इनिशियली जितना भी इंपॉर्टेंट वाला था आई हैड स्टडीड, एंड लकली उसमें से ही आ गया था. सिलेक्टिव स्टडिंग करके भी करिश्मा का हो गया. तो फिर जब बात आया ऐसा सॉरी, फिर दूसरा कंपनी आई सेड yes to it because that was entirely purely into indirect tax. That was the first company that I spoke about. That was actually a corporate, and this was entirely a consultancy company where I am currently placed in Patna right now. I'm working with them, and I'm happy with it. So this was my campus का story. So अगर आप लोग को और कुछ जानना है तो बताइए. I have narrated everything. सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट पे अपना ध्यान रखना, दैट इज माई ओनली टिप. सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट. आज भी मेरे घर पे, मेरे यहाँ पे पटना में like 6 to 7 बुक्स IDT का पढ़ा हुआ मतलब पढ़ाई कर रहे हो उससे. डेली आई एम अटेंडिंग वेबिनार्स, आई एम स्पीकिंग टू पीपल हु आर इनटू इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स डोमेन. वी आर शेयरिंग रिसोर्सेज, अलग अलग रिसोर्सेज. बी ऑन लिंक्डइन, गेट इन टच विद गुड इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स प्रोफेशनल्स, रीड देयर थॉट्स, रीड देयर व्यूज, अंडरस्टैंड कि उनका व्यूज़ उन्होंने कैसे निकाल लिया, मैं क्यों नहीं निकाल पा रहा हूँ. ठीक है. और क्या बोलना है, दैट्स इट. और क्या है, सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट तो बताया है अभी. सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट में बहुत ध्यान रखना है. क्यों, रीज़न बीइंग, इतना अपने आप को कर लो, इतना कर लो. मैंने अपने आप को इतना, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, चिजल किया है ना इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स को लेके, कि मैं अपने आप को इतना एटलीस्ट समझ लेता हूँ कि मैं एक बिग फोर्स के इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स प्रोफेशनल्स के सामने खड़ा होकर मैं बात कर सकता हूँ आराम से. मेरे को हेजिटेशन नहीं होती, बिकॉज आई हैव नॉलेज. मेरे पास नॉलेज है उतनी कि एटलीस्ट आई कैन एटलीस्ट स्टैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ देम स्पीक. ठीक है. तो कहीं पे भी अगर आप जाओगे, इफ यू आर लाइक फ्रेशर एंड गोइंग इनटू एन इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स, लेट मी रिमाइंड यू, कंप्लायंस आपको करनी पड़ेगा. यू हैव नो अदर ऑप्शन. But then make sure you don't get stuck into compliance only. You change your not the employer, change the employer अगर आपको लगे वैसा. But then ज़्यादा frequent job hopping मत करना, that will affect your CV. And what else? Am I missing something? बस इतना ही है. और क्या, कुछ और हो तो प्लीज़ डोंट हेजिटेट टू कनेक्ट विथ मी ऑन मैसेंजर. और इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग दैट आई कैन हेल्प यू विद, प्लीज़ लेट मी नो. जो लोग अभी जून 2020 एग्ज़ाम देने जा रहे हैं उनके लिए भी था ये कि भैया आप सोच लो आपको आगे क्या करना है. क्योंकि देयर वर लाइक मेनी ऑप्शन फॉर मी कि मैं PSU ज्वाइन करूँ. PSU मेरे को नहीं ज्वाइन करना था. रीज़न बीइंग कि PSU में एक बार क्या होता है ना, देयर लाइक मैं समझता हूँ कि वहाँ पे ग्रोथ रुक जाता है इंसान का. नहीं, मेरे को वो नहीं करना था. एक कॉर्पोरेट में जाके मेरे को सिर्फ एक्सेल शीट के सामने नहीं बैठना था. आई वाज लाइक वेरी लॉयल टू माय करियर कि नहीं, मेरे को ग्रो होना है, मेरे को एक ब्रांड बनना है. लेट मी टेल यू दिस थिंग, मेरे को एक ब्रांड बनना है आईटीटी में। सीएमए को, एक सीएमए जब ब्रांड बनेगा आईटीटी में, तो सोचो इंस्टीट्यूट का कितना नाम होगा। when they will realize अरे ये तो एक सीएमए है। नाउ मैंने पीपल से कि अच्छा आप सीएमए हो, मैंने तो आपको कुछ और प्रोफेशन का समझा था। And they are like very good, nice that people like that CMA students are coming up into this domain. अच्छे अच्छे एडवोकेट्स के साथ I sit and discuss. I help them in filing writs. पटना में एक हाई कोर्ट रिट फाइल करा दिया, ठीक है। तो वही है, सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट इज द कोर थिंग। आपको घिसना पड़ेगा अपने आप को, दिस इज नॉट एन एंड। आपको पढ़ाई बहुत करना पड़ेगा इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स में। कोई भी टैक्सिंग का स्टैट्यूट या लॉ में आप कहीं भी जाओ, लॉ फील्ड में अगर आप जाओगे यू विल हैव टू स्टडी अ लॉट। आई एम टेलिंग दिस थिंग, बहुत पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा, बहुत पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा, हर एक एंगल से सोचना पड़ेगा। बात ये है, ठीक है। सो विद दिस इसको कंक्लूड करते हैं। जो भी क्वेश्चन है फिर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि प्लीज़ मेरे को आप ड्रॉप कर दो, मैसेज ड्रॉप कर दो, आई विल रिप्लाई, ठीक है। ओके चलो बाय। अच्छा हाँ, एक और बात था कि जब आप सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट रिसोर्सेज आप ले रहे हो ना, प्लीज़ रिलायबल रिसोर्सेज लेना, डोंट गूगल नहीं प्लीज़। एंड ट्राई टू कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑल्सो, राइट आर्टिकल्स लिखो ना, कौन मना कर रहा है। नहीं छपेगा नहीं छपेगा, लिखने में कुछ जा रहा है, लिख डालो। whatever the thoughts you are coming, please make sure ज़्यादा ही illogical thoughts नहीं हो, वरना जब, क्योंकि एक्चुअली ये टैक्स बुलेटिन गोज इन सर्कुलेटेड लाइक अमिड वेरी, बहुत अच्छा क्राउड है इसका, बहुत जगह जाता है, ठीक है। सो व्हेन इट कम्स इनटू देयर हैंड एंड व्हेन दे रीड इट, ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए क्या एक प्रोफेशन क्या कुछ भी लिख दे रहा है, ठीक है। सो प्लीज़ मेक श्योर। फिर राइट आर्टिकल्स फॉर एनी वेबसाइट के लिए आर्टिकल लिखो। आई डोंट डू, क्योंकि मेरे पास अभी इतना टाइम नहीं है कि मैं करूँ, बिकॉज आई एम ऑलरेडी वर्किंग ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर थिंग, मेरा रिसर्च चल रहा है एक चीज़ पे, ठीक है। सो यही था, कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स इंस्टीट्यूट आफ्टर यू क्वालिफाई। जिन लोग के पास मेंबरशिप नहीं है तो जल्दी जल्दी मेंबरशिप लो, और फिर मैं बोलूँगा कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स इंस्टीट्यूट, इंडायरेक्ट टैक्स में आओ, नाम बनाओ, ठीक है, बिकम अ ब्रांड। ठीक, चलो बाय।